This meeting is being recorded.
All right, welcome everybody. I'm glad you're able to join us. Let's just see what's going on here so I can get on the screen. There I am. How are you? Now, I'm going to start off by saying this is the second in the series of my sales and service advice, or my sales advice to service or practitioners and providers. I'm mumbling all over the place because I'm excited about the NFL playoffs this weekend. Anyway, why am I wearing this ratty jersey? Well, in this second series, I want to talk a little bit about what you're seeing on the screen there. Back in 1990s, early 90s, when before digital technology became the norm, I'm faced with a problem. Somebody came to me and they said, look, cameras, you got to take a picture, they got to be developed. We go to sports games, you go to sporting events, we take pictures of the players, we then go back, develop them, we mail them out. If they like them, they come back. The whole step when it comes to traditional film. You're a high-tech guy. You have creative ideas. What can we do? How can we get it so that the process is more instantaneous? And so that started what became Dream Cards. I'm going to take you a little journey here with this background, and then I'm going to tie it back into, again, problem solving over technology, because I want you to know that, and you already do, I love technology. I just don't think you should lead with technology. I don't think technology solves problems. I think you have to solve your problems, then get the technology involved to make it a reality. So what I did is I took an old Nikon camera. I'm working with a tech guy as well, and we attached to it a hard drive that could hold up to 30 pictures. Now this thing weighed a ton because it was like one of the big shoulder video cams. But what happened is when we took shots digitally, we could actually show the individuals on the screen who we took the picture of what it looked like. And they can say, wow, I love that. Or no, can I pose again? Now, the beauty of that was by having those pictures done digitally, we then work towards leveraging, and this is where Eastman Kodak comes into the equation, their continuous tone printer. Most printers in the past were dot matrix, and the closer the dots were together, the better the resolution. These continuous printers, as Kodak told us, were actually on the tanks during Operation Desert Storm, and they're continuous tone. In other words, there's no dots. And so they're looking for a way to commercialize these. So we said, you know what? This would be a great way to solve the problem. Sporting events, going out there, being able to take immediate pictures, show immediate results, and then on the spot, print them out photo quality. Now remember, this is 1991, 92, 93, as you see on that paper. So started out with this solution, and it started to gain some momentum. And people started noticing that. And one day, somebody from Kellogg's came and said, this would make a great idea if there was a way you could put or transpose the head of jerseys. And I'm going to go to the next slide of jerseys or faces onto the jerseys of their favorite hockey team. And we thought, yeah, that would be kind of cool. How can we do that? And so we looked at it, and that came in. We got together with Kodak in Richmond or in New York, and Rochester, New York. And what happened is we put our brains together and came up with a process that enable us to literally, and what you're seeing right now is transpose people who sent in their headshots onto their favorite jersey. So this was a Montreal Canadian fan, there's a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, but they came from all over. And we did all for all the NHL teams. And the output was looking like a real authentic sports card where somebody was wearing their jersey. So that's really it was a really interesting process. Here's a quicker zoom in, and they had to send in 6 box tops, etc. But as I look back on this whole journey, I didn't create the technology for creating the technology and then find a problem. I found a problem and created the technology. And in fact, it evolved so much that professional sports teams, for example, in the CFL in Canada, we did their series of cards. So, of course, we didn't have to transpose their heads. We did the Blue Jays. We did the Blue Jays Junior Fan Club. All of these things and the technology that we had the capability of doing those early days. And as a result, what we did is solve a problem. And why do I keep coming back to this? Because it doesn't matter what the technology is, it doesn't matter what you're using to eventually elevate and automate the process. You have to first and foremost not lead with technology, but lead with understanding what problem solving is. We saw a problem. We said, how do we solve it? We then turned to technology once we knew what we had to do and expanded on that basis. This technology wasn't available before we did this. And now, of course, look at phones, look at shots you can take now, look at the things you can do with face swap, all of these things. Well, back in the early 90s, this was the early stage. This was one of the first stages of that. And, I ultimately franchised this out across North America. But it was an interesting example because it was a successful business idea that started with solving a problem. So when you go to look at your technology, don't look at the feature, functions, and benefits. Don't look at selling it and saying, well, here's what it'll automate, whatever. What you want to do is say, what is your problem? And then how can we get the process in place? And then with the process in place, how then can we introduce and leverage the technology? I know it sounds like a broken record, but this is just another fun example. And it's my experiences doing this over the last 40 years that I formed the approach of agent-based modeling, that I formed the approach of solving problems and leveraging technology. Again, I love technology. I think it's phenomenal, but I also recognize its limitations, no matter how advanced it may be. If you don't understand a problem, solve it, and then introduce technology, then you're doing it all backwards. So just keep that in mind. In the second series, that's what I want you to take away from this, the second one in this series. I'll have more stories and examples like these in the previous one, but thank you for listening to me.